consequential decisions in American history. He chose not to seek a third term as president. So why does that matter? Because America was not built on permanent rulers. It was built on ordered liberty. Faith teaches that authority is a stewardship, not a possession. Leaders are accountable to God for how they use power. And why does that still matter today? Because republics survive when leaders respect limits and citizens defend them. Washington's lesson still stands. A republic is preserved when power has limits, and public service remains a duty to God and country, not a path to personal rule.
Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios.
This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
Why would I ask one of the foremost intellects on everything technical trading, cash equities, commodities, financial products on three main continents, why would I bog him down with some moronic question about Chicago finance? There's no finance. It's frickin' bankrupt. It's always been bankrupt. Look at Illinois. Look at Cook County. Completely bankrupt. You add in grant money and reimbursements, you got $70 billion. The state budget's only 57. What's that mean? That means they're on a doom loop. Why would I ask this brilliant bastard that question? He's too good for that question. He's Scott the Cow Guy Shellady. How are you, sexy?
Good late afternoon to you, brother. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. And it's, it's something to watch because we pretend that it's like big news. Ooh, a communist is elected. Well, what the hell is a Democrat? I've never known the difference between an American Democrat who promises free housing, free food, free healthcare, free, and a socialist communist. What the hell's the difference? The good news is in America, you can at least separate the liability in theory. But when you start to see the minutia of how much money is being stolen through these entitlements, it's staggering, isn't it?
It is staggering. And, first of all, the litmus test is this, Shaun. It's the Democratic Socialists of America, DSA. Could you ever imagine something being called the Republican Socialists of America? It just wouldn't happen. So you're right. They are one and the same. The problem is that this far left of left is they're espousing the things that they think are kitchen table issues, lower food prices, lower fuel, Medicaid for all, those types of things. But you have to take those with the other stuff. Get rid of the presidency, get rid of the Senate, pack the court, get rid of ICE. Those are the things that come with that. And if you hate your country that much, have at it. But I tell you what, I cannot believe it's not being dismissed out of hand.
Well, I can't believe it's not being sequestered financially and the liability of the cost of these degenerate lowlifes, just stopping it. And that, to me, is how you control petulant little children, which is what this philosophy is. This is a petulant, childish lie and the true face of greed. These are people who want to steal other people's money, whether it's in the form directly or in debt indirectly. And we now know, beyond the shadow of a doubt, it's always going to be us, the capitalist, the American, that does better. The markets yesterday, I calculated, I'm just using the old point system of wealth to a nation. When you look at the Dow Jones rally 1,000 points and you add up the Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Russell, and all the rest of it, I figure it's about $1.6 trillion this country gained in wealth yesterday. Am I off?
No, you're right. That's all right. I mean, yeah. And that's, look, we've got record earnings. The revenues are fantastic. We've got manufacturing that's booming. I just think the Republicans have done a really bad job of driving that home. I mean, they're getting beat on some of the ground game, which is food prices and fuel prices. They have to do a better job. They've got a little bit of time here, but they haven't really capitalized on their successes. I know Trump's trying to do that right now, but still. They need to get going.
You can never do it in a mafia area because the people are unaware and they're uneducated and they're uninterested in the fact that if you live among these thieves calling themselves Democrats, the taxes on taxes, the percentage taxes on taxes at multi-levels of distribution of everything from fuel to groceries to everything else, let alone insurance and housing, is through the roof. Well, the equity in those entities goes lower. So you're talking to people in Illinois versus people in Tennessee. Those are two totally different conversations.
Oh.
And therein lies the problem, right? They're two different countries, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely different countries. But here, I just want to pound this. Yeah, they are 100% different. It's amazing. I mean, I have stories for you that just 1950 America stories that happened to me in Nashville that would never, ever, haven't happened in Chicago since 1950. I mean, good old-fashioned stuff. It's not, nothing untoward, but just your America, the America that I grew up with, Norman Rockwellian America, that you just don't have happening north of the Mason-Dixon line anymore. However, what I can't stand is that they'll do anything for power. So if they think they can get elected as a democratic socialist, they'll start to espouse those views to get in power. Now, every Democrat pundit out there is like, no, they're talking about all the kitchen table issues. Yeah, but if you vote for them, you have to also be voting for the other things I just said, which are scary, with getting rid of the presidency, the Senate, packing the courts, getting rid of ICE and a lot. I can go on. So these people, just for power, are proving to us all that they hate Trump more than they love America. Bottom line.
Oh, this is, yeah. Well, how about the talk by all the hornswogglers, whether it's Pete Buttigieg or Kamala Harris, they're going to get rid of the Electoral College. And, it's a fascinating admission is what it is, because what they're doing is a declaration of war. There is no way you can vote out the principles of the republic. You are declaring war on the structures of government, which I think the Republicans should move forward with this. I really do. Are you talking to me? It's time for the "are you talking to me" talk. Because now when you declare war on the republic, you are an enemy of the state, and you will be treated as such. I don't give a rip if you pretend you're going to be a senator or a congressman or whatever the hell you are. You're residing in a place that's known to perpetrate and protect theft. Every one of these areas. Chicago is not a city. It is a fiefdom, and they know it. Do you know that I have a clip on the board of J.B. Pritzker yesterday, a fat bastard, never bought a sandwich in his life with his own money, always Grandpa Abe's. He's talking about taking the taxes down on school supplies. There are 4 Chicago schools that threw out school supplies because they already bought them with the $33,000. They literally threw them in the garbage can. It's unbelievable how they openly steal the fracking money, how they waste it, how they lie and they cheat and they steal. So you're now declaring a war on my republic, which is supposed to protect me from your fiefdoms? Now really cut off the money. I'm talking about zero. My offer to you is this: nothing. What do you think?
I love it. I can't wait to see what happens in November because, there's a lot of disaffected voters out there. The numbers are coming in from this Al Sayed that got elected in Michigan. They're saying that it was the white, liberal, educated women that really put him in office rather than the rest of the electorate, which I find, I don't know if I should find that surprising or not, but it wasn't something I wasn't expecting that.
First of all, did you ever look at these women? Your boxer shorts would be snug. Your boxer shorts are snug on them, all right? They think orgasm is a planet next to Mars. They don't know. Think they give a frack about capitalism? Healthcare is through the roof on these broads. They got lumps on it, can't even identify. Is that a lymphoma? Who knows? They want it taken out for free. So that's who they're using for the excuse. But when you look at the numbers, you're going to tell me 1.6 million morons in Michigan just voted for Democrats yesterday? Never forget, these are the areas that have been stealing elections since the dailies pretended to be businessmen.
Right. Yeah, I get it. And so I'm be really excited and interested to see how this all plays out because it's a disaster. This is an absolute disaster that's happened to the Democratic Party because they've let them in and it's a Trojan horse. They've been eaten from the inside out. And let's see how many people, this thing ensnares because at the end of the day, I cannot believe the arrogance of these people that they think that they know more than our framers. They think that they know more than the people that wrote the Declaration of Independence. Pete Buttigieg and Kamala Harris think that they know more than the people that started this great American experiment. It's absolutely farcical, and I would be embarrassed to be them and say that.
You know, Scott, in all seriousness, when I say, and I have it on my phone, you've called my phone. If you're don't leave a message if you're a Democrat. To me, if you admit to supporting these philosophies, these policies, this framework of fraud and greed and lies, you do not have the fundamental understanding of any economics. None. Zero. I don't think an American Democrat actually understands Econ 101. I don't think they could pass a test to get in to Econ 101. I mean, there is no real philosophy of socialism. There is no philosophy of communism. There is no philosophy that keeps Chicago public schools afloat. It is literally the justified extortion and theft of other people's money. That's what an American Democrat is. So you're not going to argue or win an argument. There is no argument. The proof is in the pudding. And as you see, the trillions of dollars that have been stolen during the last 5 years with Biden, the scamdemic of COVID and the reality of hundreds of billions, if not more, that have gone to very specific Democrat fiefdoms to bail them out because it was about to be exposed about how bad everything was because the first Trump administration, everyone was kicking ass economically, all the decent people. It was only these indecent areas that were out of the closet for being fraudulent. So COVID comes, you shut the society down, you flood these areas with trillions of dollars. Now the money's gone. And so now we're going to have this phony, it's a rise of communism, when it could all be stopped if the Treasury just shuts it off. And when you look at Flushing, Queens, did you see in one block they're stealing $121 million, all Chinese nationals, all saying that they have senior daycare, the same thing as Minnesota, only they have little tiny offices. They said they got 25,000 people in there they're treating. I mean, this now we got the guy that could shut it off. Just shut it off. My offer to you is shut the money off. I mean, that's the greatest way to really expose it, isn't it?
I know, and then they come over to our country. They're naturalized. They're here for 8 years, and they steal everything and send it back to where they came from. I mean, I don't know what to say about it. I could never in a million years ever think that that's going to be the case. But you know what? I never thought in a million years that a man would want to play in a women's sport either. I mean, I don't know what's happened to our morals in this country, but I tell you what, we need to look ourselves in the mirror because this is ridiculous. You know, Mom Donnie's been in the country for 8 years, and he's going to tell me how to be an American. I can't believe it.
I blame Viagra. You gave all these old Democrats, made them pretend they could still be men. The root of all problems. You know, when you look at the money that flows to all these enemies, China specifically, whether they're in bed with the cartels, they're in bed with the Islamo-Nazis, they've got their assets, their communist members stealing our entitlements. There's never any outcry of the money that is being funneled to China. However, when they decided to buy the yen, what was that, 2 days ago? It was a big outcry.
Yeah.
I was watching CNBC and everything. They were all upset. You're breaking the rules. You can't help another country with the currency. Why is it we can't help Japan, but we can help China? I can't figure that out.
Well, I mean, they don't understand the severity of the issue. Someone needs to sit them down. But all we were doing was we were selling euros to buy the yen to help prop the yen up because if they were left to Japan to prop their own currency up, they needed to raise cash to do that. And the way they raise cash to do that is they're the biggest holder of our treasuries. So they would have to sell an ungodly amount of U.S. treasuries into the market, and all those people that were complaining about us helping another country would suddenly have a 12% mortgage.
They don't know that. No one talked about that. Just keep that on the down low. But what I love about the trade, is you were able to dump Euro trash. When you look at Europe is in a worse pickle than fracking Detroit or Chirac. Let's dump that all day long. What took so long? And now dump every euro you have. I would implode that market. You see they're collapsing. They're communists. They're socialists. The Islamo-Nazis have infiltrated. Why do we even hold any euros anymore?
I don't know, but I don't know. I mean, and the interest rates stink, and they're a bigger risk than we are. It's crazy how that's working out. But I tell you, just look what happened between Morocco and Spain, that little inlet that Spain owns over there. That's because they haven't taken care of their immigration issue. Thank God we got a hold of ours when we did, because we're going that same way. This global elite, it starts with the World Economic Forum, the WEF, and that Klaus Schwab guy. All of those Democrats think that they're smarter than the rest of the world. And you know what? It was Christmas when they got that COVID, because globally, they dumped $22 trillion into Western economies, and they didn't give anybody anything to spend it on. So we dumped $22 trillion in 1 year into these global Western economies and blew the roof off of everything, and they stole, like, I don't know how much
they stole the money. They stole it all. Let's start at 80% and work up. What else is fascinating that we're not getting any info other than, a couple of news junkies such as ourselves. I never liked that whole Syria Islamo-Nazi Taliban leader pig that our government had a bounty on his head for $12 million if we killed him. Then all of a sudden they pluck him, they put him in a Brooks Brothers suit. He's the president of Syria. They're about to invade Iraq right now. I don't know if you saw that. Today, yesterday, and 3 days ago, they have lined the Iraqi border with the Syrian, I guess, government army, which means terrorists to me, and they're going to invade Iraq. That could cause a pickle into the Middle East conflict that will be underreported, because you could always blame America and Iran when Iran is a fraction of what it used to be as far as global strength. But Iraq, we tried to pretend they were civilized after we threw it up for grabs and then pretended they have a government. That could add a lot of upward pressure to the base product of the most important commodity in the world called oil, couldn't it?
Yes, and that would be inflationary, and that your interest rates go up again. I mean, there's a lot of those risks out there. Yes, I have seen that. And that Middle East, it's like getting involved with just a nest full of cockroaches. It's hard to get rid of them all. And once you think you have everything put to bed, they come out and they bomb something that you never. I mean, there's never going to be a deal. It's only going to be one thing that they respect, and that's strength. So I don't know how we're going to handle that, but signing a piece of paper means nothing to them. So we'll see. But at the end of the day, I do believe that if they can't have a nuclear, nuclear weapons, and if they did, they would have used it by now, I'm sure.
Do you know what the GDP of Syria is? 65 billion. You look at the GDP of these so-called countries. They're smaller than all of our top 5 companies. These are countries. The other side of the coin is, how do they even exist at this particular point? When you look at what their only source of revenue is, they don't have any form of capitalism. They're like Detroit. They don't have any form of businesses. They're like Chicago. So you just have the fact that they've been able to expose the product called oil to the world market, and we pretend they're a legitimate country. At a certain point, we now are exporters. We now have all of this stuff. Why don't we really do a Trump austerity? Seal the fracking borders of not just oil, not just natural gas, but of money, and sweat them out like the bust-out scumbags they are. What do you think?
I agree, but you've got a democracy here where people scream when we get rid of USAID, when we're giving money for transgender birthday parties in libraries in different countries. I mean, how are people getting upset about that? So, I mean, can you imagine if they get upset about drag shows on military bases in foreign countries? What are they going to do when he says, "I'm not letting any dollars go out of the country"? They're going to have a heart attack. I mean, I just don't see. These people almost have a death wish.
But that is on the table. I mean, if he really, he could, with Besant, with the success of our markets as they are, with the success of Besant and the boom belt, outside of these Democrat areas. I mean, it's hard, right? Because we're talking primarily to people who are trapped in these hubs of extortion and where the decent people are always punished. But outside of these Democrat states, these other states are kicking ass. If you seal the borders and you allow the good states, the ones that aren't squeezing their people with energy costs and corruption and monopolies, you could really solve so much of the problems both outside and inside. I'm really starting to think it's time for Trump austerity and do the that favorite movie with Mel Gibson, Mad Max with Tina Turner, embargo. Shut it all down. What do you think, Master Blaster?
Escape from the North. Yeah, you're exactly right. It could be another Kurt Russell, Snake Plissken. Yeah,
but I mean, think about what you got. You got these states kicking out oil now that never kicked out oil. You've got natural gas. You've got nuclear. I mean, Illinois is a great example of a suicide policies that have brought it to a hub. In World War II, it was one of the top 5 oil producers. I think it was number 3. We've got oil. We had natural gas. You've got the highest concentration of nuclear facilities, nuclear plants in any state than in Illinois. It's number 1. It's all self-induced policy, corruption, manipulation, and political crime.
I didn't know that. Is it all shut down? What's going on?
Yeah, they shut it down. I think it's 14 nuclear reactors, nuclear sites. 12 or 14. I'm getting old now. But they in World War II, they were the third highest oil-producing state was Illinois. You've got natural gas, insane. Illinois was a hub of money and capitalism and decent, legitimate businesses. All the Democrat mafia from Chirac shut it down, clamped it down. They regulated them into poverty and futility because none of their communism works unless the people are softened up. When they're poor, hey, you mean I don't have to pay my electric bill? Whatever. Just go ahead. I just got to pretend J.B. Pritzker does not have camel toe? Okay, I'll pretend. What do you think?
I've heard. That's good. That's good. Well, I mean, yeah. I look, Brandon Johnson can solve it all for you. You just have to have patience.
Yes, he's a visionary. Did you hear that?
No, I did not.
Oh,
but he looks like when his eyes are wide open like that, I can't believe it.
Listen to this. Now, keep in mind, this is the bum. Think about you tell your family, look, we're going to have to go on a payment plan for the water. All right, but now he's a messiah of sorts.
The people of Chicago want and called for a visionary. That's what I reflect. We have put forth a path of how we build safe and affordable communities by investing in people. And that's what I'm doing. And as long as, I continue to do that, we'll find the right people who can execute my vision.
If that was a company and you had stock in it, you would call for everybody who runs it to be arrested. That's Enron. Chicago is Enron, only worse. The people can't read who run it. That's the real difference. By the way, did you see Ben Crump trying to read his medical report, the medical exam for the guy he's trying to represent racism? Did you read it? Did you see it?
No, I did not.
Oh, Scott. You got to see Ben Crump try to read. It's good. It's like watching Brandon Johnson try to govern. Funny and sad. Thank you for always making time for me, sexy. What's on the show tomorrow?
I'm gonna do a good news show. I mean, we've got U.S. manufacturing is going through the roof. We've had fantastic earnings and the revenues reported this S&P quarterly period. So there's a lot of great stuff going on. I just want to start getting the message out because I don't think the Republicans are doing a good enough job doing it.
Yeah, and you got to focus on the point of the common denominator in all of these areas where things are going on that are great. There isn't a Chicago 100%. Democrat to be seen. Scott Shellady is
11 Southeast states, $9 trillion GDP annually.
That's fantastic. Thanks for always making time for me, and enjoy the barbecue. You going to do barbecue? I'm deciding fish or barbecue. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, RFD TV tomorrow at 12. I'll take it all. Give me the left side. Scott Shellady, Scott the Cow Guy, thank you very much for making time, brother. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
He will never negotiate his constitutional rights with the government. Live free or die on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore.